Oh, I don't know if that's because he had bean soup for dinner or not that he's playing classical gas, but that is the start of a Press Pros Magazine Monday Huddle. Hi, everybody. I'm Bruce Hooley. That's Sonny Folks. We'll be joined very shortly by Ryan Jones, the head football coach at Versailles. The Tigers with a win in the first round. We got a great bunch of games to talk about from week one of the high school football playoffs, and boy, do we have a schedule in the coverage lens of Press Pros Magazine for week two. So thanks for joining us on Facebook, on Twitter. Send us your questions on Facebook. And we are presented by visitcanton.com, home of the championship weekend in the state football playoffs, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Visitcanton.com has all your lodging, dining, and entertainment options. And we will have Tanja Marshall from the Canton Convention and Visitors Bureau joining us at the bottom of the hour to talk about some of the special things they have and how to get tickets to championship weekend at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Right now, we want to say, first of all, hello to Mr. Sonny Folks, and shortly we will get to Ryan Jones, head coach of the 10-1 Versailles Tigers. Hello, Mr. Folks.
I got two questions for you tonight, just off the top of my head. I'm just interested to know if you stand behind Alec Baldwin in the trouble he's in.
Well, I would rather stand behind him because I think it'd be harder for him to shoot me if I was standing with him.
You wouldn't want to stand in front of him.
I certainly don't stand in front of him.
And when do you think Adrian Peterson has had enough?
Is Adrian Peterson still playing?
Adrian Peterson today signed with the Titans.
Well, taking Derrick Henry's spot. I mean, he'll get out there and run hard. I know that. Wow. Adrian Peterson. That's amazing.
When is enough? Good to see you. Good to be with you. Big weekend for us. Saw a lot of football, had a lot of rain, spent a lot of time thanks to the Pickle Indians and their dryer there in the in the garage at Alexander Stadium. So hopefully coming up here for round two this weekend, it'll be it's going to be cold. I just hope it's a little bit drier, but looking forward to some great football again this week. And of course, the regional round of the area volleyball starts this week. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and with that, let's bring in our guest. He's Ryan Jones. He's a head football coach at Versailles. Tigers were very impressive in round one on Saturday night. They just moved out to a quick lead in a game that I thought might be competitive. Ryan, you guys were on point on Saturday night, and one of the things that I thought was neat, because coaches seem to be hesitant to say when their team played well. You said you always try to tell your guys, let's play the best game we can play, and you said, you know what, we might have come pretty close to that.
Yeah, I was really happy with the way we came out. It was a kind of a wet night. You never know what you're going to get playing on a Saturday. Somebody asked me, one of my students last week asked me if I would rather play on a Friday or a Saturday. And I said, as a high school coach, I'd always rather play on a Friday night. I just feel that just feels right traditionally. But, playing on a Saturday is nice as well. And I was really happy with the way the guys came out and played. You don't know what you're going to get sometimes when they get out of their routine of going to school in the morning. And so, we always get the guys up and meet early in the morning to make sure that we match that routine as much as possible. But the guys played really hard. And we do that. Something we talk about a lot is getting better each week. And if we are getting better each week in practice, then we should be playing our best game each week. And so, hopefully this Saturday night we'll play the best game of the year.
Coach, someone asked me Friday night. I saw Pickle play Friday night, and somebody said, tell me what you think about teams that impresses you about playoff teams this time of year, because it's pressure for those kids. It's one and done, and, there's a lot on the line. And I thought about it for a moment, and I think the thing that impresses me the most is when teams like yours, like Pickle did the other night, like Bremen did on Saturday night, come out and play confidently. And I know you appreciate that more than anything else as a coach, when your kids come out and dance with the girl they brung.
Well, yeah, when you're playing with confidence, you can deal better with adversity, so you handle the ups and downs a little better when you're a confident team. You get down a little bit, you can come back from those situations. You have some things that don't go your way. Maybe it's a turnover, maybe it's a penalty or something that's a setback. You can handle those things better when you're a confident football team. If you're not a confident football team and those things come up, then it's, oh, here we go again. And are we going to be able to battle out of that? And so, playing with confidence, I think as the year has gone on, our team has developed more confidence. And, I think that they're pretty confident in their ability, but, we constantly try to remind them that, confidence only gets you so far. You got to execute on the field on game day. And there's a lot of confident teams that lose, and sometimes you can get too confident, and that affects your preparation. So you always want to be there on that edge of confident in your ability, but also fearful of the loss and knowing that can come at any moment. And so that's got to be your motivation throughout the week.
Ryan, I was impressed with your depth. We talked about you guys running the ball, throwing the ball. And I think I said to you, you have balance within your balance, because I'm not sure if it's going to be Jack Osborne or Landon Henry. I'm not sure which McEldowney you're going to throw it to. You got some tight ends you can throw it to. I really think you're hard for Carlisle to scout, because you can't really take one aspect of your team away, nor do I think it would really behoove any team to try to take one player away, because you just have so many different weapons.
Well, that's just, a testament to our senior class and the guys who are playing. We've got some good running backs. I think we've got 3 running backs that could start at a lot of football teams. And, they're all deserving. We could pick one guy and just ride him throughout the season, but I think they're all deserving through what they do in practice, what they've done off the field, what they've done during the summer, and, the whole 4 years that they've been at Versailles. You put in that work, and if you're deserving, I think you deserve a shot. And that doesn't mean every week everything's balanced, but those guys are all deserving, and we try to get them reps. Sometimes you got to weigh those decisions as far as who's the hot hand. Sometimes you got to go with the hot hand, and sometimes a guy matches up better against the defense that you're seeing, and you got to go with that guy. You're talking about the running backs. We got Jack Osborne and Landon Henry and Gabe Thompson, and they all have their areas of expertise. And sometimes we need a guy that's able to bounce it outside and with the speed of a Jack Osborne. Sometimes we need a guy with the patience of Landon Henry, and sometimes we need a guy who will run through a wall like Gabe Thompson. So, that's just part of coaching and evaluating the defense and the situation that you're in. So, we're really fortunate to be in that position. Anytime I feel like you can be balanced, like you said, anytime you've got more than one guy to go to, it definitely stresses the defense. And so you got to take advantage of that. And, sometimes it's just letting people know that, okay, you can't key in on this guy, and you've got to account for everybody else on the field.
I know some of your kids are in sports, of course, basketball, baseball. And I'm always interested in kids that have maturity. I know Landon Hendren pretty well. He put baseball bowls in the winter on the bowling team, plays, of course, for you. Carson Bay, saw him catch, for Joe Harmon last spring. And I don't think he's ever going to catch for the San Francisco Giants. But, he's got maturity behind the plate that he gets from playing quarterback for you. And those kids, besides confidence, it's a different attribute than maturity. And that game you lost last year in the playoffs, I think probably did as much for your kids and their attitude this year and the way they carry themselves on the field as anything you could have taught them.
Well, I think they really did learn from that, and that does bode well for the maturity. And they are a mature group, and they handle themselves well on and off the field. And I think you see that in all the sports that they play. Whatever it is that they're playing, whatever season they're in, they dedicate themselves fully to that sport. And I think you see that's why a lot of those players that you mentioned are successful. Carson's been a great leader for us. He's very mature, very responsible. If there's anything I need, he's the guy to go to. He'll make sure it happens. And, that's a tough thing to teach and coach. A lot of that comes from good parenting and learning from those situations. Like you said, hope that you learn from a loss, because if you don't, then it was a waste. But if you can learn from those things, if you can improve upon the mistakes you made, if you can use those losses as motivation, then they'll serve you well in the future. And so that's some of the things we talk about. We had a loss this year. We had a couple last year, and we try to learn from those. I thought that the Roger Bacon game last year was a tough one for him. But, even in that game, I thought their confidence grew throughout the game, and that's really where they started to be a confident team. The Kiner kid was an unbelievable running back, but we were able to make some adjustments and slow him down in the second half and battle back and make that a 3-point game, and we had a chance to win that game. So I think the confidence built there, and they realized that they could compete and that they had that chance, and how close those games are, and they hang in the balance on just one play sometimes, and they realize that they can win. And yeah, you grow up quick in those situations.
Ryan, let's talk about you got a break and you want to play at home. Carlisle beats Reading a 13-4. So you get Carlisle on Saturday night. I don't know. Do you have to tell your kids, hey, you got to pay attention? I mean, they obviously beat the team that everybody thought would win based upon the seeding, but what does Carlisle like to do? What will you have to be cognizant of playing them?
Well, it's interesting. You get a 13 seed that wins, they get in the second round, and the discussion all last few weeks and even through the summer has been, what is this 16-team playoff going to look like? Are we going to get any of these upsets? Obviously, it's a Carlisle team that would not have been in the playoffs, if we had a 12 team or an 18 game. So that's just an interesting thing. The debate will go on there as far as, whether you think there should be more or fewer teams in the playoffs. But Carlisle is a very strong team. Coach Clodfelter is a good coach. He's really done well wherever he's been. He was at Beaver Creek and had great success there. He was at Bethel and had great success there. So he took that Carlisle team, I believe, was winless the year before he got there. And he's got them 6-5 right now, and they're playing their best football. They've won 3 games in a row. And, they're very well coached. You can tell that. You can tell that they bought into the system there. They run a unique offense that not a lot of teams run anymore, with the option attack and their foot-to-foot splits, and they get after you. They come off the ball hard. The quarterback does a great job of executing that option attack. I think early on in the year, there were some mistakes that they've made just through that option attack. It's kind of a high-risk, high-reward type of attack, and you can tell that they're really firing on all cylinders and playing much better football right now, and that quarterback does a great job of executing that offense, and it's an offense that relies heavily on your quarterback to make those decisions, when he's got to read defenders and decide whether to give to the dive or whether to toss to the tailback. So he's done a great job there. Coach Clodfelter, I know, will have his guys ready. We talked to the team today about how unique it is and how big of a challenge it's going to be, especially for a scout team trying to simulate something like that in practice, and how important their role is during practice this week. And so, I think the guys have a lot of respect for Carlisle. I know we do as a coaching staff. And, I think they probably played their best game Saturday night, and, they're pretty confident, as they should be, because they're playing well.
That's a tough offense to prepare for. Dave Miller ran it at Covington for years when he was there. Bob Gregg ran it for all those years at Centerville. I think he probably passed it down to Dave. The guy at Navy runs it very successfully. Georgia Tech has done it well for years. It's 3 or 4 days. 3 or 4 days isn't very much time, to prepare for all the intricacies of the triple option offense.
No, it's not. I've always been a big fan of it, and I've never been able to run it as a coach, but I've always loved. I saw Paul Johnson a couple times at coaching clinics, and just really found it fascinating, and loved to watch those the academies that all run the triple option. And Fisher DeBerry over there at Air Force did a great job with it as well. And I think that it's a great equalizer, and it allows you to not block defenders that are very good. Instead, you read those guys. It's very difficult to execute. You don't dabble in that type of offense. You commit to it fully. And I think Coach Clodfelter runs that very well. He knows how to coach it, and he's got those kids believing in that system and understanding how it benefits them and the advantages it gives them. Most of those teams in college that schedule Army or Navy, they got to devote a lot of time in the preseason to scheming for that. And that's why it makes it very difficult. And you see those teams consistently pull off upsets because of that. And so it is difficult. And we did go over it quite a bit today. We watched a lot of film on it, trying to brush up our scout team. And it'll probably be the most coaching we'll have to do of the scout team all year.
Well, Ryan, I enjoyed watching your team play on Saturday night. I love the energy that you guys play with. Carson, I think, is a true dual threat quarterback. He can really run. You didn't have to run him much on Saturday night, but I was so impressed with how he threw the football, how he kept his eyes downfield when he was scrambling, how he doesn't lock on to a favorite receiver, but he uses everybody that he has. I think you're deep. You're a really good football team, well coached, well disciplined. Your kids are polite. I know you have great fan support on Saturday night, so we're looking forward to seeing you guys play and hopefully reach the regionals.
Well, we appreciate that. I think that Carson has done a great job, but all those seniors have done a fantastic job, and I think our coaching staff does a tremendous job in preparing those kids. And they're hungry, and they know they have a great opportunity in front of them. And, we're very fortunate to be able to play again at HB Whole Field in Versailles in front of the home crowd with great support. And, it's a great field, and it should be a great night Saturday night.
I just enjoy the attitude and the atmosphere around Versailles when they've got it going with football, like you've got the product that you've got right now. I remember Kyle Gale and Ryan McNeilin, who's now your team doctor. I remember those guys in 2003, and I remember those Hetrick teams back in the 90s when they won 3 straight, and just how crazy that town gets when football is good and everybody's excited, and it's a big lift for the community. And good on you and good on your kids. And, we're excited to watch you play again and cover you on Saturday night, and we wish you the best and stay healthy. That's pretty important.
It's very important. We've been pretty lucky with that so far this year. Keep the fingers crossed. But the guys that have gotten injured have been able to come back and are pretty healthy now. So that's always a big consideration when you're talking about playoff runs. You got to stay healthy, and there's so much you can do. But like you said, Versailles is a great place to be. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to be here, because it's a town that supports football. They love football, and they have the passion that I have for football. And so that's where I want to be. And it's great when you're able to make a run here and get that support of the community.
Serenity now.
Thank you, Ryan.
Right.
Have a great rest of your week. Good luck Saturday night.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. See you, Coach.
Ryan Jones, head coach at Versailles. And I'll tell you what, there are 5. No, there are they. Let me think. I got too many.
5.
There are 5, and I
can't imagine.
It's amazing to me there are 5, and it's amazing to me Milton Union is a 7.
I know that. It's
they are really good football teams,
especially when you look at Milton Union. I know McNicholas is ahead of them in Cincinnati, and I know there's some good teams down there like LaSalle and some people like that. But honestly, Clinton Massey's in Division IV in that region. I can't see 5 other teams, or at least even 4 other teams, better than Milton Union and the way they're playing right now. And I would say the same thing for Versailles. I will say this, and I think Ryan, the last time I covered them and talked to him post-game, alluded to the fact that they are getting a little bit better, measurably better, every week they play. It isn't one of those things like they have peaked in week 5 or 6, and then from that point, they get a little stagnant, they get a little bored. You can't get bored in that league because you get beat if you do. But they've gotten measurably better throughout the season, and that's a testament to him and Daryl Jones, his dad, who I think coaches the offense, and his staff there, that they really have kept it fresh and kept it good and exciting, and that town is eating this up, and that's a good thing.
Boy, I tell you, Carlisle offensively may be a load to handle. The option when it's run well is really difficult. You got to play assignment football. You can't get sucked in. You can't go to try to help somebody else, because then your guy will burn you. But the Versailles Tigers are a true dual threat football team. They can throw the ball. They can throw it short. They can throw it deep. They can throw it out quick. They can run after catch. They are a very good power run team. I was very impressed with their defense. We'll see. I mean, obviously, the better the footing, the better that will help Carlisle. A sloppy field would not help Carlisle. But the field, as I left it Saturday night, I was amazed what kind of condition it was in after playing on it in the rain. It was not like, candidly, Milton Union's field was beat up pretty good. The Bulldogs will not be playing at home this week. They'll be playing down at Eaton. But I think the conditions will be pretty good at HB Whole Field on Saturday night. And I'll just say I was very impressed with the two teams I covered this week: Milton on Friday night, Versailles on Saturday night.
Well, I will echo that because I saw Piqua play the other night against a team, Little Miami, that they had respect for because Little Miami came in 4-6, a 16 seed in Region 8 in Division 2, and had played some teams very tough, teams that Piqua are going to have to play at some point, like Kings and Turpin and some of those teams out of Cincinnati. And, Piqua came out and showed first of all, they showed their skills. They've got speed. I hadn't seen them in person this year. Greg Billing has written them 4 or 5 times this year for us. And I was impressed just by Josiah Medley. He's the leading rusher in the Miami Valley Conference. He put 310 yards, I think, on Tip City a couple of weeks ago. And he's the real deal. He can play at the next level for somebody. Their quarterback is strong. Their line play is strong. Their depth at Drashawn Roberts and people at those running back and wing positions is there. They can throw it. They can run it. They always pursue and run you down on defense. They never take a play off. So they're going to be. I think they're going to be fine. They got Withrow coming in this week, who was 8-1, behind Piqua, of course, in the region, and that's going to be a very interesting team because Withrow's got more athletes. They'll have more athletes than what Little Miami had. And it'll be fun to see how Piqua has to play up to that standard of athleticism. And I don't have any question or lack of confidence about them doing that. They're that good. Milton is that good. I saw New Bremen on Saturday night. And again, Chris Schmidt's team, I don't think Lockland was anywhere near prepared to play them. The coach of Lockland said it's hard to play a defending state champion with 65 kids when you've got 20. And that pretty much summed up the way that game went. They won 51-0. But we've got some confident football teams. You're going to see another one on Friday night in Tri-Village. I'm anxious to see that team play New Bremen. So we've got some really good football teams, as we've said, all season long. And how about Troy Christian? How about your buddy Steve Nolan? I erroneously picked Portsmouth Notre Dame to win that game because my scouts, my people in Scioto County, Lawrence County, Gallia County, down along the river have said Portsmouth has played the toughest Division 7 schedule they could play in this area. And, Troy Christian went down there. They've gotten healthy. They've got a lot of linemen back. They gave the ball to Landon Rich. They're not going to throw it very much. They gave it to Landon. They controlled the clock, controlled the pace of the game, and they come away with a 3-touchdown win, 28-6 over them. So good on them. And for their efforts, now they get to play St. Henry on Saturday night.
Yeah, Troy Christian is one of a handful of 14 seeds that won this weekend. We did have what I didn't think we'd have at all. We had a 16 beat a 1. We had Milan Edison. So Edison High School in Milan, Ohio, beat Bellevue 23-22. Milan was 5-5. Edison High School was 5-5. Bellevue was 8-2. I believe Edison High School is where Max Soviak, the Navy, the young man in the Navy who was killed in the Kabul bombing, the suicide bombing in Kabul during the Afghan withdrawal. I believe Max Soviak went to Edison High School, and they dedicated that game to him. Now, they had played Bellevue during the regular season and lost to Bellevue 21-14. So they obviously thought they could win that game, and they did win that game. So they're a 16 that won. We had Worcester's a 14. They won. They beat Olentangy Berlin, which Berlin was a 3 seed, lost 23-20. Worcester won that game. Indian Lake lost to a 13 in Waynedale. Carlisle was a 13. They beat Reading, so they will play Versailles on Saturday night. And Fort Recovery was a 14. Fort Recovery got the win over Arcanum. And we also had, as we said, Troy Christian over Portsmouth Notre Dame. So we had a 16 win and a handful of 14s win. But doesn't keep my mind on the playoffs being expanded, but it's nice to see some teams get up. It's nice to see some upset victories.
No, but to that point, you got some teams like Kirkland, the number 1 beat number 16 Harrison 56-0. Lakewood St. Ed beat Lorraine a 1 against 16 49-0. Upper Arlington beat Thomas Worthington 56-0. Nordonia beat John Hayes 40-0. Again, there were 75 teams in the playoffs this year with losing records. Mm-hmm. And we looked just Friday night on the scoreboard here. Of the 67 games that we had on the Press Pro scoreboard, 67 games, 33 of them were running clock when they ended. Half of them, 50% of them running clock, to give you an idea about competitiveness. Is that story that you just told me a good story where the Horatio Alger thing comes to the top? Yeah, sure it is. Of course it is. But I'm not sure the sample size justifies the enthusiasm that people have to say, see, I told you so. More is better. So this will take some time. Somebody asked me over the weekend, is this going to last? Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know if it can last if people don't show up. And the other night at the Piqua game, there were less than 75 people in the stands from a Division II team just an hour down the road in Cincinnati. The next night, when I was at New Bremen and Laughlin was there, they had 22 people in the stands on their side of the field. 22. That's a little hard to pay the light bill when that few people show up.
Yeah, Indian Hill on Saturday night against Versailles maybe had 30 people on the sidelines, and even less than that the night before, Milton Union against Summit Country Day. So the visiting teams with the high seeds who have to travel a long way at $10 a ticket are not coming. So we'll see. But we do know we're going to have packed stands at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton for the state championships, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We'll have Tanja Marshall of the Canton Stark County Convention Visitors Bureau joining us very soon to talk about some of the great opportunities up there when it comes to lodging, when it comes to dining, when it comes to entertainment options. Sonny and I are big fans of the tournament being up there, and we're looking forward to a great weekend. And right now, Tanja joins us. And we've had you on earlier in the season. Tanja, thanks for coming on the show. We're excited we're in the playoffs, and we're building toward a really big weekend in Canton around on the first weekend in December. And you have some ticket news for us tonight, do you not?
Sorry for a second, no classic news. I had you on mute.
No worries. That's fine. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing great. Well, we're looking forward to state championship weekend up at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. And when you and I were commiserating today, you said you may have news for us on tickets or anything else that people need to know, as we're 4 weeks out from crowning state champions.
Absolutely. The event is quickly approaching, and we're so excited. And the weekend, again, is Thursday, December 2nd through that Saturday, December 4th. And tickets are on sale already. And it's a great time to go ahead and go reserve those, especially if you're looking to sit in that club section, get inside away from some of the colder temperatures that might be here by December. And those tickets, you can get a full package, including club seating for $150. And then basic standard admission for single games or single day packages are only $38. So it's a wide opportunity from the most affordable packages to maybe a little extra comfort if you can afford it in that budget.
Well, it sounds great, and we know that it'll be a first-class show because everything that you guys do and everything the Hall of Fame does together, I can only imagine with the OHSAA, what a great show this will be. What would you tell people in terms of booking their hotels? There are a lot of people that say, well, I'm not sure my team's going to make it. My answer to that would be, well, you're going to miss a great weekend even if your team is not in it. What is the lodging situation up there right now? I'm sure you surveyed some of your partners. Are there rooms available? What would you tell people about booking their hotel rooms and getting their dinner reservations?
Absolutely. I would start making those plans right now. And the hotel availability right now is definitely there. But if you wait until that, week of, as people start to know that their team's going to be there and in the game, and teams start booking their rooms as well. So it's a great time to go ahead and block your room night, make a trip of it, plan on coming regardless, because it's a great atmosphere to come and cheer on the high school athletes in Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. And there's a lot happening throughout the area, so you can definitely make it a little getaway.
You know, Tanja, I think a lot of people maybe watching tonight or who will watch this on replay tomorrow would be interested to know about, if they haven't been to the NFL Hall of Fame. That is a great venue. That's a very captivating and compelling, interesting place just to go in and spend an afternoon.
It is.
What kind of, I'm sure they would be interested to know, is there any kind of deals with the state tournament, or just what kind of incentives there are to go in and spend an afternoon at the Hall of Fame?
Sure. If you check online at visitcanton.com, we have a great offer. It's our VIP offers pass, and you can get $4 off of your admission at the Pro Football Hall of Fame any time of year round. And that's a great opportunity. And there's discounts at other places to visit all over the area and restaurants as well. And then Hall of Fame, or over the OHSAA State Football Championships, you can stay tuned on visitcanton.com, because we will definitely be sharing information like that becomes available if other special offers come up. They also have a great museum store, so keep that in mind for holiday shopping. They have all 32 NFL teams and Pro Football Hall of Fame merchandise, so you can find some of those hard to find items, especially maybe for you late shoppers. You know, you can get a little early start in December 2nd through 4th.
And I'll tell you,
I can assure you, by the way, Tanja, I can assure you those ads are all over Press Pros magazine. If anybody wants to know where they can find that coupon, just come to Press Pros. It's in every game story we have.
Absolutely. And I can vouch for the Hall of Fame store. I mean, the great thing about the Hall of Fame store is, A, you do not have to pay for admission to the hall to go in the store. And B, if you have a fan, you know, we all have that fan. He's a fan of the LA Rams and he lives down the street from you. Or in my case, it's a niece who's a fan of the Seattle Seahawks because she likes the Seahawks colors. You can find every single item, whether it's a stocking cap or fuzzy socks or a pullover or a sweatshirt or gloves,
jewelry,
or whatever, you will find it in all 32 teams in the National Football League in that gift shop. There is no better gift shop for NFL merchandise anywhere than in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That's true. And there's a lot of other great places to shop too when you're in the area, and a lot of events and winter fun and activities, ice skating, outdoor rinks, all throughout the community. So definitely a lot to do. And so plan a weekend, and like you said, plan ahead and book those hotel rooms now, because it'll start to get tight as the playoffs continue and that pool narrows.
Now, Tanja, we have been also running, in addition to your coupon on visitcanton.com for admission to the Hall of Fame, a discounted admission to the Hall of Fame, we've been running something about a craft brew tour.
Yes. And
tell us about that, because I believe that's coming up this weekend.
Absolutely. Our Hall of Fame Hops Craft Brew Trail has been taking place now for throughout the year of 21, and is getting ready to wrap up just now on November 7th. So it's the last opportunity that our trail subscribers, whoever's checking off all those 15 locations throughout Stark County, they have until November 7th to complete all the check-ins in order to be entered to win tons of different prizes, including Pro Football Hall of Fame admission tickets, different gift certificates to the different breweries, merchandise, all sorts of opportunities. And one grand prize winner will stay overnight in the Brewers Quarters, which is a great Airbnb just above one of our local breweries in Minerva.
Now, if I know Sonny Folks, Tanja, he's going to want to know if he can get a late dispensation to win that prize if he visits all 15 breweries on one weekend for the state football title.
Only if he has a designated driver.
Sonny's more interested in the Grand Slam at Denny's on Saturday morning. That's a great Denny's you got there right down from the stadium.
We have a lot of great brunch locations too for people who are looking for great breakfast and brunch. You can find it all on visitcanton.com when you're planning your visit and looking to purchase those tickets for the OHSAA State Football Championships.
I've already told you.
we want to know if you'll go to dinner with us at Bender's.
Yes. Yes.
Love Bender's. I'll never pass up a dinner at Bender's.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Good to know. Well, Tanja, it's great to have you. We certainly appreciate the partnership. We're so excited about that weekend coming up, and we're just thrilled that we have somebody who's willing to come on and tell people to, hey, get with it, book your hotels, make your plans. We talk about staycations all the time. There's nothing more affordable, more fun, and more memorable than State Football Championship weekend in Canton. And I know you guys are going to knock it out of the park because you did last year with like 2 days notice. So I can only imagine what you'll do this year with an entire year to plan.
The great people of Stark County will pull it together.
We certainly will. Well, Tanja, we look forward to hearing more about the state championship weekend as you come up. Folks, remember, click on those visit Canton.com displays and PressProsMagazine.com content and plan for a great weekend. Tanja, thank you so much for coming on with us tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All right. Great to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. Tanja Marshall with the Stark County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Visit Canton.com. Click on those ads. And have you got our hotel reservations yet?
Do you need to ask that?
Yeah, I think I need to ask that every day to make sure we're all set. That's what I need to ask. Fantastic. Well, let's go through, Sonny, the games we're going to cover this weekend. We got a lot of people who are interested. Tremendous games coming up in Division I on Friday night. Central Ohio coverage will have Hilliard Darby 8-3 at 11-0 New Albany. I believe Aaron Blankenship will be covering that game for us, and Brian Bayless will be shooting it. Then Reynoldsburg and Upper Arlington. Now, this is a really interesting second-round matchup because Reynoldsburg and Upper Arlington, if people remember, played in the season opener, and Reynoldsburg was up 21 points on Arlington. Arlington won the game on a touchdown pass in the final seconds. Nobody knew then that Arlington was going to go 11-0, but they are. They're the top seed in the region. Reynoldsburg lost its first 4 games, 3 of them by 4 combined points. And they've been on a revenge tour for the last half of the season, playing very well. They took out 7-3 Hilliard-Davidson on Friday night. So, Dijon Jennings, their quarterback's having a big finish. So we'll see how Reynoldsburg holds up in round 2, both in the playoffs and for the season against Upper Arlington. Then in our Western Ohio games, we'll have the Division 4 matchup, Milton on the road at Eaton, and we'll have Withrow against Piqua. And there's a possibility, we're still trying to work it out, that we'll have Kettering Alter at Tippecanoe.
3 really good games locally here for Friday night. Again, I would urge anybody, if you haven't seen those 3 teams, particularly at Tip City, and the fine season they've had, and certainly we've talked at length about Milton Union throughout the course of the fall, and then Piqua is what Piqua is. There's just a lot of people who believe that's the best team, if not a more talented team than the one that they won the state title with in 2006. And they'll play Withrow on Friday night. And then on Saturday night, we've got 3 absolute gems. When you talk about a rematch, I think, of the 2019 regional title or regional semifinal between Fort Loramie and Marion Local. That is at Marion, and that has all the makings of a trap game because I don't think anybody believes that Fort Loramie is a 5-6 football team. They're better than that. And then, of course, you know what Marion Local is. They're undefeated, the #1 team in the state. On Saturday night as well, we have New Bremen going down to Tri-Village, a very compelling matchup there because it's hard for me to believe, again, like we talked about Milton, that there is a better 8-3 or a #7 seed in the state than what New Bremen is in the way they're playing right now. And then they're playing at Tri-Village, and they're very excited about the season they're having down there as well. And they got a very exciting young guy that you talked to this week, and Reed Ware. We'll have a profile about Reed on Press Pros here in a day or so. And then, of course, we talked about Milton and Eaton and Versailles and Carlisle on Saturday night. Coach was just here a moment ago to talk about that. And as much as you might appreciate the football, I think when you go to a place like Versailles and you see the number of people that show up for that, it's exciting just to be part of that crowd and part of that atmosphere as well.
No doubt. And, I had a long conversation with Coach Burke from Tri-Village last night. The Patriots have persevered when you lose your quarterback and a star quarterback in Lane Sarver in week 1 and a win over Troy Christian, and then you lose the second week to Preble Shawnee. You pull it together. You win every one of the rest of your games and handily. Last year you played won the Cross County Conference in a high-scoring game with Fort Loramie and the final game in cross-county conference history. You sail into the playoffs. You get beat in round 2 by Riverside in a game that I don't think people expected it to go that way. You've had a year to think about that. They're really playing well, but they got a super challenge, and they know they got a super challenge in New Bremen coming in there because, if you look at the MAC, Sonny, a lot of teams in a MAC are still left. You got, as we mentioned, Versailles, Carlisle, Coldwater and Country Day, Fort Recovery and Anna.
Fort Recovery and Anna.
Yeah, Marion Local, Fort Loramie, Tri-Village against New Bremen, and Troy Christian against St. Henry. So really amazing. I did a note on Twitter this week on the MAC, and 17 of the last 18 years, the MAC has won at least one state championship. They, over the last 18 years, have played in 37 state championship games, so more than 2 a year. 37 state championship games for MAC teams in the last 18 years. Their record in those state championship games is 27-10. So they win about 3/4 of the state championship games they play in. And 9 of the 10 teams in the MAC have won a state championship in the last 18 years. So everybody goes, oh, it's Marion Local, Coldwater. No, it's not just Marion Local and Coldwater. It's everybody. Everybody but Parkway has got a championship. Delphus has championships. Anna's got, we've got championships all over the place. New Bremen got their championship last year. Versailles has a championship. Minster has championships. I mean, St. Henry has championships. On and on and on and on. And so that's why people around the state of Ohio know MAC football. And that's why it'll be interesting to see how many MAC teams make it to the regionals.
You're going to ask me in a moment, do you have a Reader Speaks moment for tonight? And I do.
Well, wait, I got a MAC moment. We got to throw a shout out to Garen Stokes of Dublin Coffee.
Oh, absolutely.
Former Minster coach. I honestly, this sounds like sure you did, Bruce. I almost picked Kaufman to beat Wayne. I just had a feeling Garen Stokes would figure a way to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Now, I don't think he planned for it to come down to a Hail Mary at the end of the game, but it did. And Mason Maggs' 41-yard pass to Trey Hederly at the finish, and he caught it. There's no doubt he caught it. If you've seen the video, but it took the officials forever to call it. But Dublin Kaufman knocks out Wayne, and that's a big win for Garen Stokes in the opening round of the playoffs. So congratulations to Coach Stokes on that one.
Well, my Reader Speaks moment deals with the conversation we had last week about winning.
Mm-hmm.
And winning football, and are we as a culture or sports people too obsessed about winning at the cost of a lot of kids and a lot of people in a lot of communities that struggle just to play, much less win. It's a victory for them to just be able to go out and compete. And there was a gal named Holly who wrote to me in a very nice letter and brought up these points, and we addressed her letter in the Reader Speaks a couple of weeks ago, and subsequently she has written back to me this over the weekend.
That's usually not good when you get a second letter from someone.
And she said, hey, look, I appreciate your airing my opinion, that you put it out there, that you let me express myself. And she said, I took the time to go to the MAC website, and then she said, when I did, I saw why all you talk about is MAC teams winning, because that's all they talk about. Yeah. Here's a big trophy on the homepage, 37 football titles, 143 titles overall, 30 some odd totals for boys, 43 for girls, 43 some odd for boys. She said they're pretty proud of it, and as well they should be. There's nothing, again, you ask people over and over and over, coaches, we talk about it. Brett Pierce said, winning isn't everything, but trying to is, because that serves you well, as I've said before, for the rest of your life. Everything that you want that's good in life, that's worthwhile, is a competition. And you can only get that you can't get that competition, that competitive instinct, from a textbook. You can't get it from, somebody laying hands on you and willing it to you. You got to go out and learn to win and take it from somebody or some source. Everything, there's competition for everything good in life. And there's no reason to apologize that. And those teams and those communities, those coaches, those fans, those parents, those kids grow up with that expectation, maybe not of winning, but of achieving something, working hard, seeing your goal through, and success. And success, that success, like we say, follows you forever and ever and ever. So, Holly, I appreciate your taking the time to write to us, to write back to us. And I'm glad you did look it up because, there's nothing wrong with that for people to come out and say, these are the values that we're teaching our kids in our communities, and we're proud to put them on display.
I'd like to throw a shout out to a young man that we will talk a lot about during basketball season. We typically don't talk a lot about him during football season because his school does not play football, but he plays a sport. He is a cross-country runner in the fall. He is quite the basketball player in the winter, and I'm talking about Carter Plyman from Botkins. And Saturday, Sonny, Carter Plyman will be lining up in the state boys cross-country meet, and I am told that it will be the fourth consecutive OHSAA sports season that Carter Plyman will compete in a championship event. 2021 cross-country state championships. He obviously, along with his brother Jacob and Jaden Pretty Pal and the rest of the squad, won a state championship in basketball in the wintertime. In the spring, he competed in the 4x800 meter final, and now going up for a state cross-country meet. So pretty special effort by a three-sport athlete at Botkins High School. I know they are very, very, very excited about defending their state championship this year in basketball with a new head basketball coach, Phil Groves, taking over for Sean Powell. But congratulations to Carter Plyman, and good luck on Saturday. I've run in that state cross-country meet and fortunate enough to hoist the trophy my junior and senior year. So, Carter, I hope you and your teammates get to do that. You
don't do a lot of that kind of running anymore, do you?
Only to the refrigerator and back.
That's what I thought. That's good. That's good. Appreciate, frankly, some people who came up over the weekend, some very nice people at the events that we covered on Friday and Saturday night, particularly at Pickwood, and said, hey, look, really enjoy what you guys do. The art, the photography, the writing, just the consistency and the effort, because you guys are someplace every night, and we try to be that. And, we couldn't do it without people like Bruce, and we couldn't do it without people like Mark Snyder and Aaron Blankenship and Steve Blackledge and I don't want to, Greg Billing and Julie Wright and all the kind of Hal McCoy and all the kind of people that chip in and give us the advantages that we have. But we enjoy
John Hulkenberg. Yep.
John Hulkenberg,
Lee
Woolery, Brian Bayless. So all those people have a hand in what we do, and we're privileged. I don't want to leave out Joe Neves either, because somebody told me the other night, he said, hey, that minute-to-minute scoreboard that you guys have on Friday night is gold, because he said you got always got 150 scores on there, and they're always up by 10 o'clock at night. There's no other source like that around locally where you can go to that, and that work behooves Joe Neves to do that. So we appreciate the kind words and the support that we have with, certainly, as Bruce talks about, with area businesses and people like visitcanton.com and those people who get their word and their services out there, their work out there on our website and our pages. So we'll keep plugging away at it. And again, like Bruce said, 4 weeks till championship weekend. Doesn't seem possible. It could have been August about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Seems like it, no doubt. A lot of great emails that came in this week, too. You said we got inundated with emails over the weekend. We had a lot of interest in our content over the weekend, which we appreciate that very much. And we hope we build toward a great state championship weekend. Anything that you'd like to share from the email inbox, Sonny?
Well, here's one. Yeah, I do want to share this. People say, well, how in the world do people know about you? And how would they know about Press Pros in Wood County and Lake County and Ashtabula County? Monday morning, that's this morning, we had 82 responses from readers around the state over the weekend, 82 of them from around the state. Questions relative to Friday and Saturday night's first round playoff games. Somebody wrote and said, hey, how tough was Marion Local's first round opponent? That came from Wood County. I'm not familiar with the team that they played. And someone wrote and said, I've been watching Versailles on Press Pros. This came from Butler County. How far do you think they can go? And somebody wrote about Milton Union and their win over Indian Hills. This person said, Indian Hills isn't a bad football team. Is Milton Union that good? That's just the power of the internet, and it's the power of social media, and the fact that, you know, when we get those games out by midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, there's people sitting up waiting to see those results, either on the scoreboard or the writing, the story that follows. So we appreciate that kind of support, that kind of readership, and the fact that there's a lot of people. I've said this before. I've written it time and time again. In Northeast Ohio, where Kirtland is, where Trumbull County is, Warren JFK that played New Bremen last year. When you go up in Northwest Ohio, in Wood County, and Lucas County, and Williams, up there where teams like Patrick Henry are, those people up there are very interested in the tournament process down here. Who's going to get through the region? Who's going to get through the state semifinal? Might we see them in the state semifinal? Or might we see them in the state finals if we get to Canton and they get through there? Our readership in Lake County, where Kirtland is off the charts. Trumbull County, we've picked up a lot of readership there as well over the last 2 or 3 years. So people around the state are paying attention to local teams via PressProsMagazine.com. And there's just an example of when we get up this morning, how many emails today we got in from over the weekend of people just interested in the tournament process here in West Central Ohio. And we say it time and time again, year after year after year, how many people out there are just diehard high school football fans? Buckeye fans, yes, but maybe high school over the NFL for that matter, because it's the last bastion of football for the fun of it, and those people have fun with it as well, and they support it, they love it, and they can't get enough of reading about it.
Yeah, it's really one of the last things that brings communities together anymore that we don't argue about. So it's fun to be a part of it. We appreciate it very much. We appreciate Ryan Jones joining us tonight. Looking forward to watching his team play on Saturday night in Versailles. Thanks to Tanja Marshall of visitcanton.com for coming on, reminding everybody that time is of the essence. If you're going to book your hotel for state championship weekend, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, click on those visitcanton.com ads on our website and get your discounted admission to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Browse their site, find a restaurant, find an attraction when your team is not playing or when there's a gap between games. We are looking forward to that weekend very much, and we're very appreciative of our partnership with visitcanton.com. They are the presenting sponsor of the Press Pros Huddle, and you can watch this on replay on Twitter and on Facebook at your convenience. Tell your friends about it. Also, as we always say, make sure you thank people who you see advertising on the site for the way that they support high school sports. Thank you for watching the show tonight, and we will sign off with our standard admonition to our furry friend, Truman. Time to go to bed. With that,
I can't believe that the gal from Albany, Debbie Parker, didn't time in tonight and tell us, Truman, it's time to go to bed. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon next week.